Hi, Ayuna. Thanks for joining me for this short interview.
Hi.
So you graduated just this year from Masters in Digital Marketing, and in the last 2 months you started working with TikTok.
hmm
So
Last few
congratulations
weeks,
on that.
actually.
Last few
Thank
weeks,
you.
yeah. So congratulations on
Mm,
that. It's a it's a really exciting company to be working for,
Thank
and
you.
the reason why I reached out to you is because you've experienced what it's like to be job hunting in a challenging marketplace. Um, so you graduated in the middle of the pandemic, so really unfortunate timing. But yet you've managed to find a fantastic opportunity. And also being an international student, you've had to go through the visa process also during a lockdown, so it was harder to actually get access to the relevant government bodies. So it would be really interesting just to hear a little bit about your experience of job hunting in the current market conditions. I think like what we're looking at is the situation is going to stay this way for a while. So for the new intake of students, it would be just great to hear what tips, suggestions, advice you would have for students when job hunting in a market like this. What has been your experience?
Sure, yeah. So I started to look for a job about 3 months ago, and I was applying for two positions a day. I was really laid back because I was still working on my thesis, so I didn't have much time, and I was only applying to the jobs that I kind of liked, the new ones that appeared every day. So I think I applied to probably like 60 jobs. Most of them didn't reply to me, and probably like 5 or 10 replied and scheduled an interview. And I've gone through a few stages with different companies, and I received two offers. One was from TikTok, and another was for a translation position somewhere in Cork. And I didn't really want to move to Cork, so and I like TikTok, so I joined TikTok recently. Yeah, I don't really have much tips about the interview process because
Mm.
most of them didn't turn out good, so I don't think I'm in a position to give any advices. The only thing I would highlight is just to prepare and to check the company's culture and what they value and their mission of
Mm-hmm.
of the company.
Mm-hmm.
I did not go through the visa process because TikTok said that they're gonna take care of it. So
Wow.
yeah, that's very convenient. Yeah. So they asked me for a list of documents to send to them, and I'm kind of working on that, gathering my PPSN and stuff like this. So, and after that, I'm gonna send it to them. And as far as I know, as of now, they're gonna be working on it on their own. Um,
That's great news.
so I don't really have much. Yeah. So I don't have much advice on that. Um, yeah, so I just started, so I don't really have any information about how it is to work at TikTok so far. It has been fun, and I'm just going through the training process. But the fact that it's working from home, it's a little bit different and challenging. So I didn't really see any one of my colleagues. I just text with them, and I don't really know how they look like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know how anyone looks like, pretty much. So it's a bit it does feel a little bit, hard to adjust, but yeah, but I guess soon it's all gonna be over, hopefully, so
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
get a chance to meet them in person, which I'm very excited about.
Good, good. And so coming back to the job hunting, then you said you sent about 60 applications and you got maybe a couple of interviews out of that. So I guess the message, the key takeaway there is that you got to be consistent and you do have to send quite a few applications before you get interviews. Is that kind of the key takeaway for you?
Yeah, I think so. I actually wish I started earlier. I did start in like probably June.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I could have started in like May or something like that because while thesis does take a lot of time, job application takes like an hour a day every morning. So I was a little bit probably scared of the process, so I was like delaying and procrastinating on it. But I think applying just even like one position a day after a month would, you know, get a few interviews at the end of the month. So
Yeah.
if I was to go back in time and change it, I would start applying earlier. Like I think a lot of other of my classmates did, who started applying, back in like April or something.
Okay.
So
Okay. So you'd suggest April, May is probably a good time to start job hunting.
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, and even if you do get like a job offer right away, I think it's still possible to manage to do thesis and work at the same time. Like
Hmm.
I've heard other people from other last year's alumni, a few did that, and I know some people start doing that this year as well. So it is hard, but you know it's possible. So
Hmm.
it's kind of up to you how urgent it is for you to find a job. So if you have enough time, of course you can take a few months break and stuff. It's just yeah, really up to the
Yeah.
applicant person. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. And in terms of the interview with TikTok, how many interviews did you do?
I did 4 interviews.
Four interviews. Okay. And generally speaking, what was your kind of like key takeaways from that interview experience? What would
Mm-hmm.
you was there anything really unusual, or was it,
Mm.
fairly kind of like what you expected?
It was pretty much what I expected, I'd say. So the first interview was more just to go over the CV and
Yeah.
stuff like this. Nothing shocking. And then the next two were a little bit more technical. So it was people who do work with advertising and stuff. So they asked me more technical questions, what kind of job experience I have and stuff like this. And the last interview was with HR, and it was not really job related. It was more about salary and stuff like this. And so realistically, it's like 2 interviews and two just like get to know each other or like wrapping up interviews.
Yeah, I understand. And so
Yeah.
for the core interviews, like with your line manager, um,
Hmm.
were the questions sort of typical competency-based questions, like give me an example of a time where you showed leadership? That,
Yeah, yeah, something like this. It was a question like give an example where you changed the course of how the company dealt with their issues or something like this, where your input had a something change, like
yeah.
strategic change of the way the things are dealt with. And yeah, there was also questions about why TikTok, why you, and pretty much yeah, standard questions I think for
Hmm.
yeah, I've gone through a few stages with Zendesk as well. I did not get it at the end, but
Okay.
it was also the same type of questions like why Zendesk is the right place for you. Why do you think you are the person who has to who should get the job? And they also there was like a presentation that you needed to prepare of like why your culture why your views are aligned with our culture
Hmm.
or and our mission and stuff like this.
Oh,
So
okay. That's interesting. So you had to give a short presentation.
yeah, for Zendesk, I did not get it, so I guess
Okay.
presentation was not really good. Yeah,
Did you do the interview with
so
Zendesk before TikTok?
yeah, before they were kind of in parallel because
Yeah.
for TikTok, each stage took about a week, so the whole process took a month.
Yeah.
So between the interviews, and Zendesk was about the same. So they kind of went parallel, and yeah, I found out about Zendesk, and shortly after, I found out about TikTok. So
Yeah, well, you have to have options. You can't succeed at every interview. I know that from my own experience. Um, and then
yeah,
I often say to students, make sure to interview because it's all practice. You, you
yeah.
know, did you find that too? That Zendesk was helping you prepare for TikTok and vice versa?
Yeah, definitely. Like during my preparation for Zendesk, I did write a long, like kind of a lot of notes about like describe yourself in 3 words. That's kind of question Zendesk asked me, or
Yeah.
like, what do you think would be the biggest challenge for you in this role? What do you think would be the hardest for you, and how are you going to address it? Yeah, so those kind of questions I kind of struggled, so I didn't really give a good answer, I'd
Mm.
say. Like what is the biggest challenge? And I was like, I don't know, no challenges or something. I just
Yeah.
I just kind of got lost and scared and um
Yeah. that's great, because then it prepares you then for future. You come out of that interview and think, wow, if I get asked that question again, I need to make sure I've got a
Mm-hmm.
good answer. And what from my experience, and maybe you can speak to this, is that the interviews across these companies do tend to be similar. So if you interview with one or two of them, there's a good chance you're going to experience the same thing if you interview again with another one of these companies, and so you learn from each one. Is that would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I also had a few interviews with Wix, and I also did not get it.
Mm-hmm.
They asked, I think Wix and probably, and I think Zendesk as well. They both asked, "What do you think, based on the job description, your day-to-day work would be like? Like, can you explain what is your understanding of the job and position?" So I was like, "Oh yeah, as far as I understand, I would be doing this and that, and probably using these channels or something like this." So yeah, I think understanding of the role is important.
Yeah,
I wish I knew that. I mean, I did, of course, research the job position, which I
yeah.
applied to, but not to the extent that I should have.
Yeah, I understand. And a lot of students this year have said the same thing. They said, we don't really know what a typical day looks like,
Mm,
in Zendesk or TikTok, and so they asked, can you find out or they recommended that was something to do for next year's intake of students. So I said, okay, sure. So that's why, it's great to
mm,
talk to you guys about your experiences on a day-to-day basis. And then, like, also just in terms of living in Dublin,
hmm
and finding accommodation, how has been your experience of that?
So I was basically finding roommates on those Facebook groups of like student accommodation or like alumni roommates or something like this. I don't remember how they're called now. So this is kind of how I found my first place that I lived in. And the current place that I live now, I took over a friend's lease who had to leave due to COVID. And now I just collaborated with a few of my former classmates, and we're looking for a house together now. So
Okay, okay, so you're sticking with your the friends you've made from Trinity.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how do you find living in Dublin?
I love Dublin. I really, really enjoy it. So it's really it gives the sense that it's safe. I'm not sure if I'm right. Maybe
Oh
I
yes,
shouldn't be so
yeah.
calm and relaxed, but it does seem pretty safe to me. And I love the nature. It's very green, a lot of trees, and I always take photos all the time. And it's really nice. I enjoy living in Dublin, like
Good.
a lot. Yeah, but it of course, yeah, depends on the person. A lot of people from my class, someone loved Dublin and they think this is the place they're gonna grow old in. And
Yeah,
of course there are people who are like, oh, this is not for me. So
yeah.
it's various case by case basis. So I think I was really lucky that Dublin did fit me really well. So I am enjoying my time here.
Good, good. And so far, you've enjoyed your time with TikTok. I know you're only a few weeks in, but are you enjoying the training?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the training. I think so the company is growing really fast, and a lot of things are changing rapidly. So
Hmm.
I feel like people who joined TikTok 6 months ago had a completely different experience to what I'm having right now. And I know that they change a lot about the training. They collect our feedbacks on it, so they change it all the time. So
Hmm.
they're just finding their way to adjust it. So yeah, if someone is gonna join TikTok and when someone is gonna join TikTok in 6 months, maybe they would have a slightly different experience than to what
Yeah,
I have right now.
yeah, I understand. Yeah,
Mhm.
and TikTok they're thriving. They're you were saying they're looking to hire over 100 people right now. Amazing recruitment.
Yeah, so they recently announced that they're gonna open their hub for trust and safety in Dublin for Europe.
Hmm.
Uh, so they're hiring quite a lot of people in that department right now. So I think there is a lot of job positions and opportunities. Um, they're mostly looking, yeah, for people with extra languages, but
Yeah,
it's not 100% requirement for every job position that they have.
yeah, I understand. No, it makes sense, and it's fantastic that they are. they're assisting with the visa process, that you don't have to worry about that. I mean, I wasn't aware that that was the case. It's brilliant that they are doing that.
Yeah, as far as I know, Google does the same thing for
Hmm.
their employees because my friend just joined them and he also said that he just sent them the documents and they're dealing with that. So yeah, I'm just starting. So yeah, I don't know exactly, but that's what I was told so far. So I'm just
That's great.
yeah.
Great. Like that's all the questions that I have. Is there anything else, any other tips or any bits of advice that you would give before we finish our interview?
Um, nothing really. Well,
Yeah.
just yeah, really prepare for all the interviews. I wish I prepared more. Maybe I would have had more offers.
Yeah. But you've done well. You've done well. Everything turned
Thanks.
out well in the end, so it's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
If you wouldn't mind just staying on the line for a few minutes, but I'm just going to press stop on the recording. And thanks again for agreeing to do this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.